Welcome to season 2 of Unfiltered. This is episode 2. This is going to be a little bit different. I went looking through the job market forums this week, the places people go at midnight when they can't sleep, when they're scared, and when they think no one else is going through it. What I found I've got to talk about, because if you're in it right now, you need to hear these stories from real people. And then you need to hear what I tell them if they were sitting across from me. Because here's the thing nobody's saying to these people: it isn't your fault and it isn't you. All right, let's go through the first story. Two women with the same computer science degree, same school, same projects, nearly identical resumes. One of them applies for 6 months, 500 applications. She got 20 first interviews, five second interviews, but not one offer. Her roommate starts applying in January. She sends out 6 applications in 3 days, and she's got 2 offers by the end of the week. Same resume, 6 months versus 3 days. So, what was the difference? Her roommate's father had a friend, somebody well known in the industry, who put in a word. That's it. That's the whole difference between 500 applications or one phone call from the right dad. If she called me, here's what I tell her: stop. Stop sending the 501st application. You're not losing because you're not good enough. You're losing a game where the board's tilted before you even sat down. And no amount of playing that game fixes the tilted board. The roommate didn't get a job or win because she's better. She won because she had access. The question is never, how do I get better at this rigged game? The question is, how do I build something where I'm the one who decides what to build and what I get paid? You've already proved you'll outwork anyone. 500 applications proves that. Now point that same focus, same commitment, and same work at building something that's yours. In the second story I came across, a guy was laid off from a gaming company a year ago. He sent in over 300 applications, including entry level jobs, jobs below his skill level, just to get something. He has interviews that go well, then he gets ghosted. Some of you probably totally relate to this. But then finally, a recruiter tells him the truth, the reason he didn't get any interviews. And it has nothing to do with his skills. So he got rejected because he'd been unemployed for too long. Sit with that. He can't get hired because he's unemployed. He's unemployed because he can't get hired. The thing the job's supposed to fix is the exact reason they're using to disqualify him. It's unbelievable, but that is what's happening. If he were on the phone with me, the first thing I'd do is look at his resume, not to fix it for the next application, but because that resume is a gold mine and he just can't see it. That's what my income generator blueprint does. It goes through what someone's actually done, and all the juicy details actually surface. It tells you exactly what you can build, because it's not just based on the resume, but we do look at it. He's a gamer. He's been in the gaming world. So why is he begging a gaming company to hire him when he could build his own game, put it on a website, get it into the app store, and start earning from it himself with no middleman taking profits? The skills he's been trying to rent to an employer are the exact same skills that he could build his own thing with. He's stuck in a loop with no door on the inside. You can't fix being unemployed by applying for jobs that reject you for being unemployed. So you've got to stop looking for a door that doesn't exist anymore. Build your own door. The day he ships and posts one of his games on his own, he's no longer unemployed. And that revenue generates rather quickly. He becomes the guy who made the game. You don't need to build it for somebody else. This is a mindset shift for sure, but it's a doorway out and it's where everything's heading. So, the next story, this one kind of got to me, and I want you to hear it because it's the one that's least about money. A 36-year-old man, a year and a half of searching. Countless applications, networking, calls, Zooms, and barely any interviews. After his latest rejection, he broke down and cried for the first time in over 5 years. He's seeing a therapist, which is good. He says it isn't touching the self doubt, though. Then he says the line I can't stop thinking about. He checks his email about 1,000 times a day, hoping to see something only to be disappointed. 1,000 times a day. That's not a job search anymore. That's a man waiting for a stranger to tell him he's worth something. If he were in front of me, here's what I'd tell him gently, because he's already hurting. Your worth doesn't reside in that inbox. You've handed the power to decide whether you are valuable to people or not to something invisible that won't give you the answer you deserve. You're handing your power over and it's destroying you, not because you're weak or you're not strong enough. No human being can stay whole while their whole sense of value depends on someone else's reply. So we take it back. Look what this man is doing. A year and a half, 1,000 checks a day, therapy, still showing up. Obviously not a lazy person. That's someone with enormous commitment and drive, but it's pointed at the wrong target. I would point him straight to my blueprint and tell him start the excavation, the deep dive into what you can actually build on your own around your life, your needs, your values, your priorities. He's already proven he'll do that work. We just turn all of that anxiety into excitement for something that's his. The same energy that he's pouring into refreshing that inbox, only to be disappointed, gets aimed at building one thing nobody can reject him from. Now, I want to leave you with a different story because of all of the people I just shared, they're all still inside the trap. And I don't want you to get stuck there. There's a man who's got 20 years in tech. He made it all the way up to CTO of a multinational company. Hard to believe. Those people post on Reddit too. Anywho, he built software. He ran huge projects, trained whole teams. It's been 8 months since his last paycheck. He can't find a job anywhere, even with all of that behind him. Then he wrote something that stopped me cold. He said, going solo is his only option for survival. Here's why that one's different. He did what I did 30 years ago. He stopped trying to get someone else to package his skills into a job role, and he decided to package them himself. Here's the part he doesn't see yet, the part I'd tell him if I were to talk to him. His skills were always worth money. They were always valuable. Every single one of those 8 months, they were worth money. He learned a lot, and it pushed him into the right direction, the one that makes him sovereign, independent. The job market wouldn't structure around what he knows. The marketplace, however, will absolutely pay for what he knows on his own terms, not locked into just one industry. And the day he begins to offer that directly is the day he's on his own, beginning to fly. He didn't lose his value. He doesn't lose his voice. He doesn't lose his talent or any of his experience. Unfortunately, he spent 8 months asking for permission to use all of it. The one thing I'd want for that man, however, is a real foundation underneath whatever he builds as a business. 20 years of expertise and the decision to go solo, that's the hard part handled. But then what trips up smart people at his level is the actual business itself. How do you price it? How do you structure it? How do you reach your buyers? How do you set it up so it's sustainable and lasts instead of becoming a job you give yourself with worse hours and a whole lot of overtime? That's the part 30 years as an entrepreneur taught me. And it's exactly what my Income Architectures Foundations is built to do, give someone like him the structure so the thing he builds actually holds. He's got the skills. He just needs the architecture. Overall, what I want you to take away from all of these stories is this: the first three people are doing everything right. They're losing because the game's rigged. The trap has no inside door and no way out. The waiting is actually eating them alive. The last guy, the fourth one, stopped playing and started building. Same stories, same skills, different game. You have skills somebody will pay you for right now with no out of pocket money. I know it doesn't feel that way, especially when you're 1,000 email checks deep. But the thing your last job paid you for, somebody out there needs it and would pay you directly. And you don't even have to do the same thing you did in your last job. Maybe you just use what you learned at the last job in your new thing that you create on your own. Whichever of those stories landed hardest for you, I want you to know there's always a way out. There's a next step that fits exactly where you are. Go to my website, bernadettegold.com/build hyphen income. That's where I've put all of it into one place. If you don't even know what you'd sell, there's a 3-day challenge that gets you to a real move by the third day. And it's only $15, the price of lunch. Because the point is to get you off the sidelines, not to take your last runway. If you already know your skills and what you want to dig into, what you want to build, or how to structure it so it actually lasts, that's also there. You don't have to figure out which one. Just go to my page and start where you are. But honestly, stop waiting in a line that isn't moving. Build the thing that nobody can reject you from, the work that is yours, that you own. Because the minute you do, that's when you take your power back. And that's how we, the people, stand in our power and push up against a system that's dying. All you need is one real skill, one real person to make a dollar happen. Share in the comments if you have a story that you want me to comment on. I would love to help you through this podcast. I read every one of my emails. You can reach me through my website, or you can leave it in the comments. This has been Bernadette Gold, Unfiltered.